Welcome to the show. Welcome back, everybody. Welcome. Thank you guys for joining me on this lovely Thursday evening. Welcome to the Rendered Image. If you're new here, we welcome you. This is my favorite time of the week because we get to sit and talk about movies and movie news. Hopefully everyone's week has been going very well. We have lots of news to talk about. If you're new here, hit that like button and hit the subscribe button because we talk about movies and movie news. And it's a fun time. I'm going to switch it over now, and we're going to meet none other than Christian Aguilar.
What's up? Hello.
Well, welcome back, sir. Yeah, I think we can hear you. Let us know in the chat if everything is good to go. If you guys can hear us, please keep us updated, because sometimes we have some audio issues, but hopefully we don't have any this week.
Yeah, I think we're good on that.
Yeah. Well, how are you doing this week, Christian? Update us on your week.
I am doing better, I can say. I think this week I had a lot more downtime to really relax and really regather my thoughts and contemplate in order to move forward. So I'm grateful for that. And also, I didn't finish it, but I just saw Suicide Squad, and I had to stop.
Yeah,
because we were going live right now.
This man's in the middle of Suicide Squad.
I'm deep in the Suicide Squad right now. Probably my folks upstairs finished it, but it's fun, man. I'm just like, my head's so scrambled because of the craziness that happens in that movie. I'm not gonna say anything because I didn't know it was out today. I thought it was gonna be like out maybe later in the night. Like you mentioned beforehand, we said maybe midnight, 1 a.m., 2 a.m.
Yeah.
But no, man, they released it early. They want it out there, and it's a fun ride. Very, very fun ride. I want a Suicide Squad roller coaster now. Just a random thought.
Come on, Great America. They should though. They should update it, and we should get a Suicide Squad ride. You bring up a good idea.
Especially with James Gunn's vision, like that could be a ride, 100%. But yeah, man, so far so good, 100%.
That's exciting. Way better
than the previous one.
That's exciting. Yeah, I was never a huge fan of the first one.
Yeah. That's an interesting story.
James Gunn, he just looks like he makes a better movie. Not to say, okay, we know that there was studio interference with David Ayer's cut. Obviously, if you remember back, I remember the first trailer that came out for that first Suicide Squad movie, completely different tone to what we ended up getting in the theater. So, which I know we've talked about before on the show, but but I'm very much looking forward to this new one. I probably will, either if I don't watch it tonight, I'm going to watch it tomorrow. So I'm very excited.
Yeah, it's pretty cool. You can jump right into it after we're done here,
I'm very excited. It was like pulling teeth. I was trying to just rip you away from that screen so you could come do the show. Well, hey.
Yeah.
Thank you. That was me joking. It wasn't a very good joke, but thank you so much for walking away from the Suicide Squad to join the show. I appreciate it. Thank you.
Yeah, it was in the third act too, so this better be good.
This better be a good show. Hit that like. I'm sorry, I hit my microphone. Hit the like button so Christian can smile and be happy and doesn't feel like he wasted his time here on the show.
Hard-earned subscription money for HBO Max.
Exactly. I did want to announce. Officially, we kind of decided this a few weeks ago, but officially, Christian Aguilar is the official co-host on the show. So,
yes, I am. So
welcome, sir.
Like this mug, get used to it.
Get used to it.
Around for a little longer.
Get used to it. I have two things going on. I have water, as always. I wasn't able to get the Gryffindor cup today because it's in the wash. So I have my Batman cup, and then I also have a Mountain Dew, which it's not good. Bad Tyler. I wish, What's up?
Yeah. You froze there for a little bit for me.
Oh, I did. Oh, sorry.
Yeah. Hopefully it was just one hiccup. No, you're good.
I'm sorry. But I'm glad that you I know for both of us the week was kind of rocky and had some ups and downs, but overall I had a very good week. Going to the Ren Fair this weekend.
You went to the ranch fair?
The Ren Fair?
Oh, the Ren Fair. Sorry.
Yeah, I'm going to the Ren Fair this weekend.
For those that don't know, could you describe what the Ren Fair is?
Oh, I'm not a regular Ren Fair goer, but I will do my best. It's like where all of the fairies and the knights and the princesses and the pirates and not door. I don't want to say that. Tree beards and all sorts of, elves and all sorts
Everything fantasy.
everything fantasy come
Evil.
together, and you eat good food and you dance to fun music and all that stuff. I've only been to one in my life, so this will be the second time I'm going.
Nice.
So I'm very excited. I will not be dressing up because I don't have a costume,
Yeah.
but I was invited, so I will go with some friends.
Hey, that's cool to check out. I remember I saw like a Renaissance fair. My first introduction to it was in a Scooby-Doo episode, and there was this dragon monster that was terrorizing the festival, and that was the mystery. But I remember like, that's so funny how they have like a Comic-Con for medieval stuff. That's pretty cool.
It is
I guess if you really like weapons, that's a place to go.
true. Yeah,
Axes, swords, good blacksmith weapons.
you get to see.
I want to check it out a little bit.
Yeah, you get to see people make stuff. Yeah, I think it's a fun time. It's not really my scene per se, but it's fun to visit every once in a while. I don't know. I mean, who knows? I might do it. Probably won't do it every year. I don't know. Who knows? But it's pretty fun.
You think you're down for a vlog? Will you vlog your time there?
No. I don't know. I don't know.
Now
Well, I've been, it's been a lot of technology stuff recently, this whole week pretty much, because school's been going on, doing VFX for my one friend and his film, and then doing some freelance stuff, and then I just had a meeting with a non-for-profit, and I'm helping them do some promotions for their children's books and stuff like that. So, and then there's another meeting at 9 a.m. tomorrow, so anytime, it's nice because the weekend is going to be kind of like my time away from the computer. Like and I've just been producing like the reactions and everything like that. So it'll be nice to maybe just step away for the weekend. Who knows?
True. Very true.
But I guess let's talk about Ghostbusters. That came out in between the time we did the shows. What did you think of the Ghostbusters trailer? I know we both have reactions. Mine's on the channel. You can check that out. And then Christian's channel is linked over on the side, so go subscribe to him.
Yep, to the lens. The Ghostbusters trailer was pretty awesome. I liked it. It seemed fun. It set up everything. It didn't show too much, but it showed you enough to really get excited. I made a mistake in my reaction video. I thought at the end it was Bill Murray that picked up the phone, but it was Dan Aykroyd.
Oh, yeah.
I put that in the end. They sound the same for some odd reason. To me, that little line, they sound the same there. But I love how it's carrying on from, I think, isn't it one of their grandchildren that this movie centered around?
It's Harold Ramis's character.
Exactly. Yeah.
What is his name? Egon?
I think so.
I think that's right. It's been a while since I've seen
But
it.
I like how they're continuing with that character, because isn't that the one who passed away in real life? So they can't really bring it. So I like how they're kind of having that like lineage, remembering what Grandpa used to do.
Yeah.
And I love how they show him finding the old car in the barn and stuff like that.
Yep.
And so it's like everything's thrown away per se. Like the whole past is thrown away, and it's kind of like a little bit forgotten. And then it's not until the kids' curiosity and wonder that brings it back. And I thought that was pretty cool. Cool start.
I liked
shenanigans.
I liked the I keep hitting this mic. Sorry guys. I like the puzzle on the floor that she does, that little like jigsaw like puzzle thing to open, and then she finds the what's it called? I don't know what is it called? The ecto thingy or whatever.
The vacuum. The thing that sucks them all up. Yeah.
Exactly.
That was pretty cool.
So that'll be cool. I'm excited. The effects look really good. Paul Rudd obviously is in the movie, so he gonna make the movie great.
Yeah, should be fun. Should be very fun.
It should be
There's
fun.
a lot of product placement too. Like I saw in this movie, like there was a Walmart. There's like a lot of like shelf items that have like a lot of product placement. And speaking of shelf items, I love the Stay Puft Marshmallow Man being like miniature now. There's like a number of them.
Yeah,
and I wonder how they're gonna play into. I hope they're not just like comedic elements. I hope to like have something to do with the plot. That would be pretty cool.
Come back. That would be very cool. I agree. Yeah, well, that's without further ado. Welcome, guys. If you're new here, welcome. Thank you so much for joining us. You can hit that like button to show support. I ask you guys, please, if you could share this live stream and this show with your friends, that would be great too. Both Christian and I, the channels have been growing. I thank you guys so much for all of the support. It really helps out. We decided that we were going to watch Batman A Long Halloween yesterday. It was our first this is our first joint review, which I'm very excited about. It's the first time we sat down and watched a movie together and decided that we were going to talk about it. So, without further ado, let's officially review Batman A Long Halloween Part 1.
Nice.
Which also, we rented it from Amazon. So we did a little watch party, so that's an option. I mean you can get physical copies too, but yeah.
Yep. You would think this is on HBO Max, but it's not. So.
Yes. Good. Thank you
they want their money.
Thank you for pointing that out. Yeah. It's not on HBO Max. What'd you think, Christian?
Right off the bat, I thought it was a pretty solid animated movie because I know in recent years the DC animated films have been either here or there, especially the last Batman comic adaptation was Hush. That's the last one I saw. I don't know if they came out with another one between that, but Hush really disappointed me because they just took the easy route and just made it, okay, I don't care if I spoil it because it was shit. He's Riddler, like Hush is Riddler, and that's not how it was in the comic at all, and so, I mean, I'm not going to spoil the comic for you because if you haven't read it, please go read it. It's top notch. And the animated film didn't really do that justice. And I kind of hated, I really do hate how they incorporate Damian Wayne's Robin in every single story now.
Yeah.
Because he's the now canon Robin, Batman had a history before him. Why can't we just get some stories set during that time?
Yeah.
And thank God The Long Halloween has not have any current connections to any of the DC animated universe. So there's no Damian Wayne Robin, there's nothing they're trying to retcon to make it fit something.
Right.
This seems like a proper adaptation so far.
Yeah.
And I really admire that.
You bring up a good point.
Yeah.
Let's see. I thought it was okay. I know I haven't read this graphic novel. Or the graphic novel. I haven't actually read this one. I've read Year One. And I read Death in the Family. I have not been able to get to this one, so I was coming at it with fresh eyes. I thought it was good. I thought it was all right. There were a few. It was kind of long, and I don't understand. For me personally, I don't really understand why it's split into two parts.
Yeah, that's because I mean there was a lot of subplots for the comic wise. I guess 13 issues, and I mean it's not really that lengthy, like you said. It's very interesting why they did two parts. Very, very interesting.
And I mean the way it ends was fine, but it didn't end where I'm like, ooh, I really have to I have to watch part 2 right now. You know what I'm saying? The ending didn't really pack a punch and didn't really get me excited to watch the second half. I could go on with my life, not watch the second part, and I'd be fine. I wouldn't feel like I'm missing anything.
Yeah, totally. I feel like I thought they were going to end it with Dent turning into Two-Face. I think we were going to have to leave it open to see Two-Face come back for part 2, but they didn't. Dent is still Dent, and yeah, like you said, it's very anticlimactic. That is one thing about this movie. It's pretty anticlimactic, and I feel like this could have been one movie.
Yeah.
It didn't have to be 2 parts. I feel like if anything, Hush should have been 2 parts because that is a longer story than The Long Halloween.
Right.
So I'm pretty sure it's probably money wise that they probably split it up into 2.
Yeah.
And I hope this is not really a trend that they do going forward. So I hope there's not a new Wonder Woman movie that comes out animated wise and then there's 2 parts to that story. Just so they can try to market off of 2 films while producing 1.
Right.
Just release all of it. But if the story calls for it, there's something that epic. Long Halloween isn't that epic of a story. It's more of a grounded detective story. A lot of detective elements in here, going back and forth, looking at crime scenes, discussing who do you think it is, interrogating. And the graphic novel dives into that way more. But I do like how they kind of bring it here and there, the whole good cop bad cop between Gordon and Batman. was a cool little scene to see play out, because that's something you don't really see them normally do in a big budget movie.
Right.
And to know that maybe the new Batman movie is taking some inspiration from the Long Halloween storyline in its detective groundism, if I'm saying that right.
Detective groundism, yes.
Yes, detective groundism. Like, they're really taking that detective story and making something that's pretty dark and grounded. And it's going to be interesting to see how they adapt that to the new movie. And that's what you get a lot of that in this movie. So if you want a little sneak peek of that, I think it could be in this movie for sure.
That's a very good point. I think, and it'll be interesting to see, like you said, how influenced that movie was, right? Because this obviously pulled from the source material, which was the comic book. And it'll be very interesting to see how much Matt Reeves also pulls from this. So, and it was a nice primer, because I haven't actually read the series. It's a nice primer for the live action film, so that I can go into the live action film and I can be like, oh, I know where they pulled that. They pulled that from the Long Halloween. That's cool. And I'll be able to understand it a little bit more. So,
yeah, and
very nice.
When it comes to animation styles, I do say this is the better in a long time, because they give like the characters and I think almost every single object like this thick black outline. It's not too much. Now, when I say thick black outline, it's not like overbearing.
Yeah.
But when you notice it, you're like, oh, look at that. They're outlined. And it just feels like a comic book. It just feels like a comic, because everything has its own, like, everything's so definitive on the page. And the artist has, well, mainly the inker, because the inker goes around and makes those thick lines. So it looks like a comic book inker went and inked the animation for this movie. And I thought that was really, really cool. You know, and that's actually, you pointed that out when I saw that, I think. And you're like, oh, that's pretty cool.
Yeah, I definitely, I pointed out the eyeliner on Bruce Wayne. Definitely.
Right. Yeah, that was kind of funny. Like, he was even at like parties and he had the eyeliner. And
yeah.
Like, okay, he's just always ready to be Batman.
He's got the eyeliner. What was do you have a favorite scene? I know my favorite scene, obviously, like I said, the best scene in the movie is when Batman delivers the Thanksgiving dinner to Solomon Grundy down in the sewer. I think that was my favorite scene.
Very wholesome, because even though it's called the Long Halloween, the story spans throughout the holidays.
Yes.
So that whole last section of the year that is the holiday season, that's when this mainly takes place.
Yeah.
And because it's just because the crime started on Halloween and that they're still going on with it, it just feels very long to them. That's why it's called the Long Halloween. Same thing in the graphic novel. But I do love that whole Thanksgiving scene with Grundy. Yeah, because Alfred made the Thanksgiving dinner.
Yeah.
Was that Selena at the manor?
Yeah.
That might have been Selena? Okay, yeah.
Yeah.
So, and I remember it was funny because she was trying to reach out for the chicken and he slaps her hand.
Yep.
It's like, not yet, you know? And I just love how, we know Alfred's a great cook. Like, I would love to have a meal made by Alfred. That shit would be bomb. Like, 100%. Even a cup of tea from him would be, like, really great.
Yeah.
So I love how they showcased that a little bit, and then they had Batman do a very wholesome act of giving Grundy he fixed him a plate, man, for the holidays. Yeah, that's so, you don't see Batman doing that for Joker or anyone else.
Exactly.
Because there's that, if you know Grundy's backstory, it's a very sad backstory. He's kind of like cursed to be resurrected. And he's living with his past, so he's kind of like a loner, man. He's not supposed to be alive, but he is. Because he's a dead man. Very much. So he just keeps repeating his rhyme and his poem. So he's like in his own little purgatory, and Batman feels for him. And Batman. Yeah, that moment was really beautiful.
Batman can relate. Batman also too could have died in the alley with his parents and spends a lot of time by himself. So.
Right.
There's those parallels. Yeah.
I think other than that, my favorite scene was probably Calendar Man. They had. That I always loved the Calendar Man scene in the graphic novel because of the art. He's like as white as the page, and it's just like, it looks like just the face was drawn, and it was just so eerie to see on the page. They didn't really fully, again with that black outline, they didn't fully capture that in this animated movie. However, the voice actor, I'm slipping on his name, but he is in a number of films. He mainly plays bad guys. He's in the new Suicide Squad as Polka Dot Man.
David Dastmalchian.
Yeah.
David Dastmalchian. Yeah.
Yes. There you go. Thank you so much. He voices Calendar Man, and I think his voice was pretty spot on. I think his performance really brought that eeriness to the character that was missing from the artwork. Now, visually, they don't show it to you in this movie, I don't think, but the performance makes up for it, in my opinion. That's something you can't get with the comic book, you know?
Exactly.
It's all the voice in your head.
Exactly.
But with the comic book, it's the visual that really haunts you with Calendar. So I like how they made up for that in the animated movie, and that was probably my favorite besides Grundy.
Definitely. Speaking of actors, Jason Ackles, is it Ackles or Ackles? Supernatural guy.
Yeah, Ackles.
He plays Batman Bruce Wayne in this film. So if you're a fan of him, that may be a reason to check this out.
He's the short-haired dude from Supernatural.
Exactly.
Not the long-haired dude.
Exactly. Yeah.
If you're familiar with faces and not names. I thought he did a really good voice for Batman.
Yeah.
Because I wanted Kevin Conroy, but Kevin Conroy's not here, so good substitute. What did you think of his voice?
I thought he did perfect. I know there's a lot of people voicing Batman throughout the years. I thought he did pretty well. There were a few moments in the film where Josh Dunham, I think that's his name, or Josh Duhamel. Sorry, Josh Duhamel. Plays Two-Face, and there were a couple times when the audio felt off or the acting. I don't know if it was his performance or what, but when they're on the rooftop and it's the three of them, his like the mix of that. I don't know if it was the mix or if it was his performance, but it just felt like off to me or not very well done. I don't know.
Interesting.
And just
I kind of want to rewatch it just to see that the rooftop scene to see what you're really. Yeah, because I felt like Harvey. I didn't know that actor voiced Harvey Dent while watching it, and when all the voice actors when all the characters came on screen and they started talking, I'm like, oh, that could be so and so. I started to try to pinpoint who's who, you know. But with his it sounded very generic, a very very generic Dent, and Dent is supposed to have a little flavor of Two-Face in there, you know. So like Two-Face has this hard, running, like tough voice right here, you know, because he's very. He's like very like rugged and very like he's seen some shit, you know, because he sees the corruption of the system in Gotham, and he sees how like shit doesn't pan out for the innocent, and so he wants to take justice in his own hand. You know, I'm the law now, which is the whole Two-Face thing. Right. So to really have that build up and Dent, especially with the performance, you're right in that. I didn't really feel like this guy could be Two-Face. It felt like he was having trouble being Harvey Dent first. Yeah,
it just
I can kind of feel that.
I mean, and so much of the performance was kind of like held back. Like we'll see what happens. Like, I will probably watch part 2. I would assume I'd like to review part 2, and we'll see what happens. Who knows? Maybe once he's able to kind of unleash and like be fully Two-Face, maybe his performance will be better. I don't know.
Which I felt they should have had in this one. I feel like that was probably something they missed out on. They could have left that towards the end, and then the big reveal of Two-Face cut to black.
That's what I thought was coming, yeah.
And so like, because why divide it into 2 parts? If you're not going to leave something hanging. I thought it was going to be something like that. But no, like you said, you could walk away after this film and be like, oh, look, there's a part 2? Oh, okay, I guess.
All right, I guess.
But it's interesting to know that this part was PG-13 and the second part is rated R.
Wow, I didn't know that.
So because I saw the ratings, I'm like, damn, they're really different. So maybe is it Two-Face? Does he have like a really gory design maybe that they're giving him?
That makes sense.
I'm not sure. I'm thinking that's probably why. So it's like consistent blood and gore on the screen whenever he's there.
Yeah.
My guess, I don't know, but it'd be interesting to see if it's darker, because this whole thing should have been dark from the get-go. It should have been rated R. Should have been like, and plus, talk about looks of Gotham. I love the look of this Gotham because like mainly the cars. I love that 1920s look.
Yep.
I think that's like the era that it looks like. Yeah, like the animated series in the 90s, like just breathe in that era, in that whole theme.
Yep.
And I love how they kind of brought that back for this one. If I'm gonna say something positive, building off of the lackluster Dent performance, something positive is Gotham's look, man. Gotham's look is really beautiful, and like you said, the snow. There's snow in this movie, and snow is like really, we haven't seen that since Returns. So
Yep.
I think that would be really great to implement in this new Batman movie with pets.
Yeah, yeah, you did.
Gotham looks so good.
Yeah, you did bring that up. That I firmly believe that the Robert Pattinson Batman movie will follow this pretty, not to a T, but like
Right.
definitely is gonna be heavily inspired by this for sure. And it'll be like I'm kind of lukewarm on this first part. I'm kind of like, it was fun. But I do wonder, I didn't realize that the second part was rated R, and I do wonder how much the second part is going to affect it as a whole, because if the second part is like stellar and like blows me away, then I might be like, oh, like it may raise the rating for this one, I'd be like, oh, cool. So
True.
but
This
then
is technically half a story.
but
so.
but exactly. But then that's gonna go more. It'll be interesting because once we see the second half, then it's like, well, why wasn't it just all one movie? Like why? Like it might if the next part's really really good, then it's like you could have just made a really really good one really really good film instead of just one kind of part and then a really good part. I know. We know. We know they want the money.
Ending? It's like a DLC for a movie. You want to see the rest of it?
Yeah.
Buy the DLC.
Rent the next
But,
part.
But I think there's still some fun sequences in this movie. Like, if you're a big Batman fan, of course, there's like the Catwoman Batman chase on the rooftop.
Where
That's always pretty fun.
where Batman runs really slow.
Where Batman runs really slow. I think that's because he likes the chase. He
Yes.
likes chase. He's like, I don't want to catch her.
Oh yeah,
She's
of course.
not like,
Of course.
So I think that could be it, but that was funny that you pointed out. He's running pretty slow. Like, what the hell? He got some lead in his boots.
Exactly.
But you got those fun moments. You got a nice Joker reveal, which I didn't see the poster, so I forgot Joker was going to pop up in here. So I'm like, oh yeah, Joker, that's cool. Then Troy Baker voices Joker in this, and his voice for Joker is pretty spot on. So I mean, like and plus you get your like classic Joker shenanigans too. He does something pretty top notch toward the end, which just screams Joker. Like flying a plane through Gotham with poison gas. That's just Joker.
I love that. I love that.
So if you want to, I think if you're a classic Batman fan and you want to see those moments again in an animated form, I think you should sit and watch this one.
Yeah,
it does have those moments.
I agree. For two things, if you're a Batman fan, I think you're going to really enjoy this. But also too, if you want to get a little context onto what the Robert Pattinson Batman movie is going to kind of loosely be based on, and you want some sort of knowledge going into that movie, definitely check these two parts out, and you'll get a little refresher course.
Detective story for sure.
Yeah,
for sure.
And then the fight choreography, I thought was really well done.
The fight choreography was pretty cool. The little fight scene in the alley.
Yeah.
Very anime-like.
That was awesome.
Very anime style based. So if you like anime, you like how the fight scenes are in anime, you're going to be pleasantly surprised with this movie because the fights are pretty cool. And I'm expecting that for part 2. Maybe that was a little taste for what's to come in part 2.
Welcome, Shannon. We did talk about Ghostbusters before we talked about Batman. So
very brief.
If you want to talk about Ghostbusters, go ahead. We'll respond to whatever remarks. What did you think? We both really enjoyed the trailer. Let us know what you thought about the trailer. I think we're going to move on to the next topic, which is the thumbnail. This is probably the biggest thing to happen in the movie industry in the last 2 weeks, probably. This is huge. Scarlett Johansson got together with her lawyers and decided to sue Disney over her contract for Black Widow.
Yeah. I mean, if it says it in the contract, you gotta fly by it. I'm really surprised that Disney didn't really cover themselves this much, like being the big tyrant that they are. Like, they get covered.
I bet. I'm excited. And Shannon, if you want to come on to the show for a review or whenever that, I think it comes out. It comes out in September, right? Ghostbusters. November. Yeah. Shannon, I'd love to have you on the show to talk about that when the movie comes out. That'd be great. To go back to this story, I think you're right. I'm really surprised that, like, obviously they shot this movie, Black Widow, and even there's also rumors Emma Stone I don't know how true this was, but Emma Stone was also thinking about maybe suing Disney, but I haven't heard anything about it for the Cruella
I haven't heard
release.
any follow up with that, but I did hear some other Cruella drama. But continue.
But I'm with you. I don't understand. Obviously, they shot the movies way like in 2019, right? Expecting a 2020 release, and in their contracts, it did say this movie will be a theatrical release.
Yeah.
And they pushed it off too. I mean, basically all throughout 2020 they didn't release it because they weren't sure what was going to happen. So
can do that to you.
Exactly, but so to everybody's knowledge, at least for all of 2020, everybody thought this was going to be in theaters because it just kept getting pushed back and pushed back and pushed back, and then eventually they just said, well, we have to release it, and they have the streaming service. Now, obviously, Scarlett Johansson and her team are basically saying that the only reason why they decided to release it on Disney Plus was because they just wanted to promote Disney Plus and then just wanted to drive subscriptions.
Makes sense.
But I don't necessarily... I don't know. It's such a tough one. It's such a tough one, man.
If you look at the fact that there's other movie studios that don't have a streaming service or didn't make any deals with streaming services to release their movies, there's movies that are strictly in theaters right now as we're speaking.
Yep.
Even though the pandemic hasn't really fully gone away, there's studios that are like, no, we're going to keep those movies in theaters because we're still going to want the theater to be alive. It's almost like a mixture of like, we're going to want the theater to still be alive. You know, streaming service is not going to take it over. And on top of that, if it's really, really good, if our movies are really, really good, people are going to go and see the movie in theater. You know, like for example, Spider-Man was released on Disney Plus. I would say fuck that. I would want to go to a theater.
Oh, yeah.
More people. Yeah, that's a theater movie, you know? So that's what all these other studios are banking on, is their movie to be that theater movie. For example, The Green Knight, great A24 film. I have only heard great things from that movie. Only in theaters.
Yep.
Only in theaters. So if you really want to see The Green Knight without waiting, you got to go to a theater, you know? And I think that's what Scarlett Johansson is pissed about. And that's why it makes her seem like, yeah, Disney is doing this because they want to get more attention to their streaming service, because she probably sees that, oh, well, look, over there, they got movies that are exclusively in theaters, so why can't our movies be? And plus, she also is probably thinking, Loki and all those series you guys already had planned for your streaming service.
True.
So if these movies were never going to be on the streaming service, the shows are going to make it popular to begin with. And I think, honestly, the shows are still making that streaming service popular.
Oh, yeah.
Because how many people are really going to cough up like $30 or $25, however much it was, as an addition to their Disney Plus streaming service? Pretty sure there's a lot of people out there, but I would rather go to the theater and see it.
Definitely.
Know? And yeah, I mean, it's just a lot of greed coming from Disney's side, I see. And I do agree with Scarlett that they're probably just like, oh, we want to promote our streaming service so much more. Because look at the content. Look at the content that we have. Look at here. Look at there.
I agree.
But the series are already doing that for you guys. Relax, you know?
I think, well, also, too, like, so Disney responded, and I think the way they responded was very, very not so professional. They basically tried to throw her under the bus, and they were like, oh, well, she had already made $20 million off of this movie, blah, 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 blah. Now, one thing that you don't do in the industry is you don't release people's salaries like this. Right. And I was just really kind of, I mean, I guess I wouldn't put it past Disney, but, you know, they were basically being like, whoa, don't feel sorry for her. She wants more money, blah, blah, blah. She already made $20 million. It's like, no, but in her contract, it said that she has points on the back end. Like, she makes money off of the box office. Right. However, you know, if the box office performs at a certain amount, she gets a kickback from that. That was in their contract. Mm-hmm. And it's like, well, Disney, if you didn't renegotiate the contract with her and all your other stars, including Emma Stone for Cruella, I don't know why I called her movie Disney. That doesn't make any sense. Disney's Cruella. There we go. Yeah, that's on Disney, man. That's Disney's fault. I know they were trying to blame the pandemic, and they're like, oh, you know, it's because of the pandemic. It's like, I guess, but you pushed it far enough to where you could have had it in the theater. And yeah, I agree. I think it being on both, it being in theaters and it being on the platform, I think affected my excitement for the movie. I was just kind of like, because
when I first heard it was getting pushed back, like before pandemic, I was like, oh, come on, like,
yeah. And it always, like, when they put it on Disney Plus, I always was like, I immediately was, obviously it's a Black Widow movie. I think that they're 10 years too late with this movie. I think it should have come out right after Iron Man 2 or around that time, whatever. But once they put it on Disney Plus, I was like, oh, is this kind of like a throwaway, or like, do they not think it's going to do very well, or do they not believe in it? Because yeah, like, I think of Marvel movies as like theater going experiences. So when they finally were just like, let's just dump it on the streaming platform, I'm like, oh, then this must not be very good, which deterred me from going to the theaters. I'm like, I'm not going to go to the theater, but I'm also not going to pay $30 to get to that paywall, which I don't think that's going to be around much anymore. I think they're going to get rid of that $30 paywall, because I don't think it's
get rid of that by the time Spider-Man comes around. Do you think they're not going to throw Spider-Man on Disney Plus?
Spider-Man, well, I don't know. So Spider-Man's not going on Disney Plus only because Sony deals with the distribution of that film. They have the distribution rights. Right. So, and I know Disney and Marvel have some sort of deal with Spider-Man movies going on to Disney Plus, but I think that's in like 2023. But yeah, I still haven't seen this movie, and I don't even know if I plan to see this film. I don't know.
I mean, maybe on a rainy day where there's nothing else to do sometime in the future,
exactly.
And it's on Disney Plus, for not for another price. Then
let's see what the chat says. Shannon says Tenet was strictly in theaters. It didn't do well, but Nolan was adamant on a theatrical only release. That's interesting. I wonder if Tenet would have went on to HBO Max or something like that. I wonder how well it would have done.
I think I went to go see Tenet. Now that I think about it, I think I went to go see Tenet way back early. Yeah, because I still wanted that theater experience alive. And then the cases went up, and I'm like, all right, that's the last.
Yeah, and then Shannon says, I think Disney was thinking about recouping their cost as soon as possible. The longer the movie sits, the longer they don't make money from it. It's like a cash sink. Disney should have negotiated with Johnson. I mean, that is true for people who kind of want to know behind the scenes. The bank investors basically make these movies and give Disney. Yes, Disney has a lot of money, but they also borrow money from people, and it's like any other loan. You're gonna incur interest over time. So the longer your movie sits and doesn't make any money, so basically that entire year that it sat, it's gathering interest that Disney has to pay back. And so, yeah, I agree with Shannon that they were just like, what's going to get us the most money the fastest, because we've had to push this movie off for a year. And, yeah, movies don't have a big shelf life either. You know what I'm saying? Even on streaming services, you watch it, and it's like, it just sits, Netflix movies and stuff like that, too. It's like, they'll just, Netflix makes so many movies and they just kind of fade into the background. Like, movies don't really have a long shelf life anymore.
Yeah. Kind of sad.
It is very sad. But anyways, it'll be interesting. I wonder how many other actors and actresses might go down this route. I don't know. I mean, Disney didn't renegotiate her contract. So I think Scarlett has a pretty big leg up on them, to be honest, with this lawsuit. I don't think there's been any outcome yet, but
yeah, like Shannon said, renegotiation should have been plan one. I don't understand why they didn't, try to compensate. I mean, dude, you're Disney. You got enough money to pay your actors, man. Like, come on, that's just being lazy.
Yeah, Alicia was asking if Kevin Feige has come out and stands with Scarlett, and yes, he has. He has come out and been like, yeah, I disagree with what Disney did. So, but Kevin Feige doesn't really have much control over that. Nor would he probably. Obviously, he wouldn't want to screw her over.
Right.
They've spent a lot of time together. Excuse me, I have to sneeze.
Bless you. In advance.
All right.
Okay, there we go. I don't know if that was the lag or you just took that long to say.
It was a long sneeze. Well, anyways, it'll be interesting. We'll keep you guys updated on the progress of this report, and we'll move on to the next topic. Unless, did you have any closing thoughts?
No, I'm just interested to see what more Emma Stone would push. I want to see more on her side. We heard a lot about Scarlett's. I wonder if it's kind of the same on her end as well.
Yeah.
I don't know. It was pretty interesting.
Another big thing that happened this week is we got our first image for the Lord of the Rings Amazon Prime series that they're working on. I think they just wrapped up or they're about to wrap production or something, or maybe they've wrapped already. I'm not sure. But they
shot this one clip, and they're like, "We're done."
We're done. But yeah, no. So obviously, Christian knows a lot more about this aspect of the Lord of the Rings and what Amazon is doing with their series. It's different than it's not a straight remake of the Jackson films. It's something different. So Christian, do you want to fill us in a little bit?
I mean, from what I've read little in the Silmarillion, I think this is taking place eons before the events of Lord of the Rings. Because it's a very interesting world, very rich world that Middle Earth has. A lot of history that happened before him. And just taking a look at this image right here in the distance, the tall tree that's right up against that light. It looks like the light's illuminating from the tree. Think on somewhere in the first 60 pages of the Silmarillion, there's a god. Tolkien takes a lot of religion and real life history and just incorporates it in his fantasy. So when it comes to Bible, think that this guy named I'm slipping on his name now, but there's this guy named Iluvatar. There we go.
There you
go. And he is basically God. He created every single thing in existence in Middle Earth. And with his creation, he created the Anur, which are basically angels. So God created his angels, right? And each angel had their own specific melody, because melodies, sound, were the first thing to ever be created in existence according to Tolkien's work. So it was music. So it's they're making some of them were melancholy, others were really joyous, some were really epic, like battle chants and stuff like that, like a victory chant or something. But then one of the angels, the Anwar, named Melkor, which is basically Satan. Know how if you're religious, Satan was once one of God's angels, his most powerful, beautiful angel.
Right.
And he's the one that questions and goes against his politics and stuff. And Melkor creates this rhythm, this melody that's really like death metal. That's a lot of fans of Tolkien came together and they commented, what do you think the sound of Melkor's melody was? And a lot of people said, I think everyone was doing a nice orchestra, everyone's having an opera experience, and then here's this guy, it just comes and just erupts everything, and people are like, oh, what's that? It's disturbs some, but then it also enchants others. How can I get mine to sound like that as well? And that angry riff, that angry melody that he made, is considered the evil of the world. That's the yin and the yang, and that's just so crazy to know. That's how the book starts, the creation of everything. And it's holy crap, he really went to the beginning. I was it starts with darkness, and then the sounds came along, and then so when the earth was created, which is called Arda in Middle Earth, Arda was created, and it needed light, because the only thing that was created was land, but it was very dark, because space is dark. So they created lamps. Iluvatar created lamps in the north and the south. So God came down and created lights, and then you would think it's from a sun, right? Or from the sun,
right?
But it's from these two lamps that are in the north and the south, and they're shining towards each other, illuminating all of Arden.
That's super cool.
And there's and that's what I think that the tree is in this image. I think the tree might be one of the lamps that Iluvatar created to shine light. And possible spoilers for this series, it depends on what they want to tell. Melkor at a point destroys the lamps, creating a whole era of eternal darkness, and within that eternal darkness comes all the rest of the dark creatures and ghouls and spirits that that basically, terrorized the lands moving forward.
Yeah.
And of course, the Iluvatar had to come back down and replenish the lights. And I don't know how he did that specifically. I didn't get that far in the book, but it's cool to know that there was once like physical objects that lit up the earth, and that Melkor comes down and destroys them at one point to create a reign of darkness for a very long time. And I think the tree might be that. And to see this image, man, I really, really, really am excited because they're really going far back towards the beginning. And I want to see if we get to see maybe Melkor's reign, because Melkor's a really, really dark lord. Like, he's like behemoth-sized tall. Like, if you thought the Sauron in like Fellowship of the Ring when he first appeared, you thought he was tall, he's like a baby compared to Melkor. Melkor's like a god, a god on Earth. And to see his reign of terror, to see the growing and like his apprentice with is Sauron. So to see Sauron become the evil lord that we all know him to be will be very, very interesting. I hope Sauron is a character along with Melkor in this series.
That'd be super cool.
Not, I mean, there's a whole bunch of other stories, but if they really want to capitalize on the Lord of the Rings, you would have to introduce Sauron towards the end or something, or build him up.
Well, it'll be interesting too, because this is obviously, it's a series, so this is season 1. I just looked it up. The budget for this season alone is $465 million.
Yeah.
I mean,
that's some expensive ad. Yeah,
that's more expensive than Endgame. Like, that's more expensive than, I mean, it is literally the highest budget that anyone in the industry has ever heard of. Like, like I think Endgame was like 250.
Mm-hmm.
This is double that.
How much was Avatar? Do you know?
Let me look it up.
I'm thinking Endgame, Avatar. But yeah, I mean, if you're familiar with Tolkien,
Avatar,
specifically Silmarillion, there's a lot of crazy aspects that you need to bring to life.
Yeah.
So.
Avatar was 237 million.
Wow. So yeah, this is
just one season. But again, this is so. But seriously, like, this brings into question. Amazon isn't playing around. Obviously, I don't know. Did you see Invincible?
I've read the comic. I have not seen the show.
Dude, you have to watch the show. The show's amazing. But so I'm thinking with Invincible and with this, man, like, Invincible was fantastic. I loved Invincible. And clearly, I mean, they're showing, obviously Amazon has a ton of money. So like they have money to throw at this, but I'm very curious to see how, I mean, in Lord of the Rings, man, that's not something just that you scoff at. Like, they would want this to be like, if it is the prequel to Jackson's Lord of the Rings, I mean, you want it to be up there on that level. Mm-hmm. And I can't. It's crazy. It's incredible, and the fact I
really hope all that money goes to practicals, because that's the thing that made the Lord of the Rings epic, is the practical effects that make it feel real and believable.
Yeah,
Hobbit didn't go that route, and I hope they kind of learn from that. They're like, okay, let's not do too much CGI. And let's save the CGI moments for when we really need them, like something like the light, like the tree being the representation of the lamp of the light, and like that whole concept. Yeah, CGI up the wazoo. Right. When it comes to the actual armor, the costumes, even the set design, that needs to be all practical. Makeup needs to be top notch. Like, this cannot suck with that money, man.
Right. Like, well, I mean. And you bring up a good point. I mean, okay, 460 or 60 or 30, I think 60, whatever, 400 plus million dollars. I mean, yeah, are you really going to throw $400 million, the most anyone's ever heard of in the industry? You're going to throw that all at like CG? Like, that doesn't seem like a good decision, like a money-making decision. Now, if you're like, yes, we're going to spend $400 million and we're going to chuck it all. Some of it will be CG, but we are going to go back and we are going to make practical things, and we're going to make it look incredible, and we're going to make puppets, and we're going to make, animatronics, and we're going to do this and that, and we're throwing that money to the right places. Yeah. I mean, yeah, I'd be really bummed if it's, because then it's just like, why not just spend less money then if you're going to just go all CG? Like, why, what makes it, I don't know. It'd be very, very interesting. I don't know if they filmed this in New Zealand or not. I don't know where the production took place.
Where the production took place either. But they should be filming in New Zealand. I mean, I heard New Zealand looks like like even before they shot Lord of the Rings there, that was one of the reasons why they chose it, because it's like closely resembles Middle Earth, the description of Middle Earth. Like you have your summer-looking grass Greenland, area that you could be stepping, but then if you look in the distance, there's like snowy mountains where blizzards are happening.
Yeah.
And the high velocity of the mountains out there, you can see that one area looks like summer, the other looks like winter. So it would be stupid not to film in New Zealand, man.
It would be. Welcome, David. How you doing? Do you know David?
Yeah, my dad.
Oh,
yeah.
Hello, Dad.
Hello, Dad.
Hello, Dad. Is your dad Lord of the Rings? Well, okay, so they watched Suicide Squad, right? They were up. You said they were watching.
I'm pretty sure they finished it. I didn't finish it. But,
awesome.
They introduced me to Lord of the Rings.
They're Lord of the Rings fans. That's cool. Do you think is it going to be a family experience? It comes out next year, so is it going to be a family watch, a family experience?
We always tend to watch shows together.
Cool.
Even if we're not in the same room, we're always watching the same. Like, oh, I'm on episode 3. What episode do you want? I'm on 1 still. Dude, catch up. It's like you want to talk about it and you can't if no one's caught up.
Yeah.
So we've always done that, and so to know that a Lord of the Rings series might be coming around, we're definitely going to watch it.
That's awesome.
It's just like continuing what we're doing now.
That's awesome.
So yeah, it's going to be very interesting to know if it's connected to Jackson's adaptation, or if it's a whole new version of Tolkien's work. They could do this.
Oh yeah,
and
true.
Honestly, the story that they're probably telling is set so far away from the events that it could feel like a whole new interpretation of its own.
Right.
But then they could say, no, it's canon,
but
it's just been that long.
But wait, I didn't even think of. In my head, I just automatically assumed it was a prequel to Jackson's work. But you bring up a great point. Why wouldn't they want to make their own? Because obviously, not only do you make the beginning of it, you start at the very, very beginning. But then when it comes time to tell Frodo, or maybe are they going to redo The Hobbit? Like, is this going to go on for not forever, but if we're spanning seasons, is this going to be? Are we going to get into Bilbo's story, and then are we going to retell Frodo and Sam and all that? Like, are they just making their own version? Like, that's a very good point.
Yeah, they could very well, if they really wanted to, have like a long-term plan. They could retell those stories for sure, especially if this is a hit and people gravitate towards it. Very much so. But the way Jackson did those movies, man, I wouldn't want a retelling of those events, because I mean, the Jackson version's in my blood, man. Like, that is how I was introduced. I'm reading, when reading any of Tolkien's work, I'm picturing that version of the world, which is bad, because a lot of old school will be like, no, that's not it, But it would be very interesting, do they have that confidence? I mean, they have the confidence to drop 400+ million, but do they have the confidence to take this new version? Like, do they have the confidence for a new vision? Forget Jackson's, let's build our own thing. Or are they going to be like, no, we're putting a lot of money towards this, let's try to capitalize off of Jackson's masterpiece and really capture that nostalgia, because today everything's nostalgia in the industry.
It's hard to, sorry to cut you off.
No, go ahead.
It's hard to tell from this photo, because it looks like Jackson's world, but it could also be its own thing. Like, it's really hard. There's a fine line there where it's like, oh, they were probably inspired by Jackson's world, but it could be its own new thing.
Yeah. I mean, the architecture very much resembles Jackson, I'm thinking like the White City in the third movie. That looks something similar to that. And also the tree in the third movie, where it was also in the top of the White City where it was burnt. Like,
yeah. Is that Gondor?
Well, no, that was Gondor? Yes, that was Gondor. Yep. The White City. And that was Gondor's kingdom.
Yeah.
Because that's where Boromir Sean Bean is from.
Yep.
And that Saruman's orb, his crystal ball, when Gandalf had it, I think Pippin touched it and he was holding onto it, and Saruman was showing him visions of the dark future, what would happen if they lost.
Right.
And the burning of the tree was one of those visions, and that reminds me of the lamp here. How Melkor took down the lamps in the past, and Saruman's going to kind of do the same, create an eternal era of darkness again.
Yeah.
And the tree represents life, and the light of life illuminates and creates life. So I feel like thematically it all ties in, and it's really cool. Yes, Minas Tirith, Shannon. Yes, Minas Tirith.
Minas Tirith. Oh, did we get it wrong? Oh,
No, that's the name of the White City, Minas Tirith.
yes. So Gondor is what though? Oh,
The kingdom, like the reigning kingdom.
Got it. Yes. Thank you. It's been a while. I love Sean Bean in those films. Like that first. Oh, dude, I love his performance in that movie.
Yeah, Sean Bean was really good in the first one, and also that was pretty sad to see. That it was in the extended version, not the theatrical, but in the extended version of the Return of the King, it was so cool to see him come back.
Yeah,
I remember that little flashback.
Those scenes, yeah.
Yeah, that was pretty cool to see him's return, and I wish that was in the theatrical cut because it would have been a nice like closing of the book, like because he was in the first one, now he's in the last one, just a little cameo, and then that's the end. And that I thought that would have been nice. So that's one of the benefits of the extended cut,
That's awesome. I can't wait for this, man. If you guys are new here, welcome. Thank you for joining us for the show. If you're new, don't forget to hit that like button. It really helps out a lot. And please, if you guys are here, if you can share the show on Facebook, on Twitter, tweet it out. Share it with your friends who love movies and who love to talk movies. We encourage everybody to join the chat and give your opinions, and we will share your opinions on the show. It creates more things to talk about. So thank you guys for showing support.
Shannon put it well. It's Minas Tirith is the capital. That's how I should have said
Aha.
It's the capital of the kingdom.
It's been a while since I've seen the movies. I need to watch them.
As a Lord of the Rings fan, I should have known that. I feel ashamed.
Oh no. No, man. No. All right, well, yeah, this comes out next year. I don't know, around November. I think it's a long time away. Or it could be summer.
Yeah, I'm expecting it to be sometime. I'm not waiting for it to come out anytime soon, especially with its budget. I hope they take all the time they need to really make this something special. Yeah, really hope so.
Yeah, we hope so. We'll move on to the next topic here. Boom. So this dropped This dropped today. This is Brendan Fraser is headed for a comeback. He's in Darren Aronofsky's new film The Whale and Martin Scorsese's film Killers of the Flower Moon. Do you want to talk about this while I look up synopsis for these movies?
Yeah, I mean, I'm just excited because I'm a huge fan of Brendan Fraser, man. The Mummy movies, The Mummy and The Mummy Returns. Tomb of the Dragon Emperor was a little late in my childhood. So the first two movies, man, Universal, I think they made some fun remakes of The Mummy, And yeah, it's not everyone's favorite, and I'll tell you right now, nostalgia plays a huge factor in that, but I always loved Brendan Fraser as that action leading man. And I always yeah, dude, he's a badass. He's cool. He pulled off the character of Rick O'Connell really, really well for being like an original character. I felt for that guy, man. I wanted his family to be all right. I wanted him to succeed in the end of the day, And I think Brendan Fraser brought that out really, really well. And as I grew older, I'm like, where the hell's Brendan Fraser been at, man? Because I have some fond memories of his performance on screen, So to see that he's not, well, I remember, what was it? No Sudden Moves. Yeah, it was Soderbergh's film, No Sudden Moves. Brendan Fraser was in it. He had like a small part. He was like the one that sets them all up in the beginning to go and rob it. But if you haven't seen the movie, I don't want to spoil it.
I haven't seen the movie yet. But...
Yeah, it's like sets him up to go rob a house and everything just hits the fan, goes sideways. So he's the one that sets him up in the beginning. I think he shows up at the very end. So he has like a small part in there. So it's pretty cool to see him in like a newly released film, And I know he was in the Doom Patrol as well, as Robot Man. So that was really, I think, his first comeback with Doom Patrol. So I'm like, oh no shit, they dug in deep and got Brendan Fraser. So to know that he's really gaining traction again, and it's not just like a one-time thing. He tried to come back and now he's not. Bro, he got Aronofsky and Scorsese.
Exactly.
That's gonna be something, man. That's gonna be something. I hope it leads to bigger things.
I'm excited. The synopsis for the Darren Aronofsky's The Whale, it says a reclusive English teacher suffering from severe obesity who attempts to reconnect with his estranged teenage daughter for one last chance at redemption.
Wow. Sounds like he's the lead in that one. That's what it seems like.
Maybe, yeah, probably. And then I'll look up the other one too.
Killers of the Flower Moon.
Flower Moon.
I wonder if that's an original story he's doing or is that an adaptation of something. I remember Scorsese a while back said that he wanted to do something with the Devil in the White City. H.H. Holmes.
It looks like it. It looks like it is. It looks like it is a book.
Killers of the Flower Moon.
It says the book investigates a series of murders that plagued the Osage people in Osage County, Oklahoma during the 1920s after valuable oil was discovered on their land.
Interesting. Very, very interesting.
Interesting. So
I wonder. I don't think he might be the star of that one. I feel like there's gonna be like a bigger cast, maybe that'll be coming along with that. But it'll still be very interesting to see what Scorsese does with that story. Doesn't really sound like a Scorsese story, but you know, he's the man, dude. He is the director. So if he's gonna do something, it's gonna be pretty good. It's gonna be pretty entertaining. But yeah, I heard that Scorsese was gonna do something with Devil in the White City. You know, and that's a book of H.H. Holmes. World's Fair, was at the World's Fair in like 1900 something. That was supposed to be with Leonardo DiCaprio, I think, as Holmes, H.H. Holmes, and I'm still waiting for that because they announced something like that, like he was gonna like produce a concept for it, but I'm like, where is it, dude? Like that sounds pretty cool.
I do remember that. Yeah, I'm looking forward to this. We move on to the next topic.
1898. I just saw Shannon's. Yeah, it's 1898 Columbian Exposition in Chicago.
Oh.
1898. It wasn't even 1900 something. Too far.
The next story we got is The Sandman, and the graphic novel The Sandman by Neil Gaiman has finished filming for Netflix. I think I don't know. We don't know when it's coming out, but I just thought this was interesting. I just thought this was cool. Just one thing that I want to do on the show is update you when things start to film and when they end filming and when they're in post production and all that other stuff. So officially, Sandman is finished filming, so we can look for that probably next year, I would assume.
Interesting. Do we know who's playing them?
No, I think it's a bunch of new people, new faces. I don't think it's anybody. I could be totally wrong on that. I don't know.
I remember, there was supposed to be a film with Joseph Gordon-Levitt attached to it. I remember that was like one of the early things I heard about a Sandman adaptation. But apparently that hasn't come to fruition. Now it's a series. You know, I think it's better as a series because the narratives of the Sandman comics are pretty lengthy and they're pretty in depth for just to be like a 2-hour movie. You know? So I think it found its format. You know, I'm pretty excited. Have you read Sandman?
I've read some of them, but I haven't read the whole. I haven't read it as a whole. But I'm very excited to digest it visually and see. I like I've said this before, but I'm a huge, like, when it comes to reboots and remakes, dude, like I'm a fan of adaptations in general, bro. I love it. I love to see people's different takes on popular material. Like you could give that stuff to me all day from new filmmakers and new voices, and you can twist it in certain ways or whatever. I love it, bro. I think there are I'm of two minds. There are stories that I think need to always be retold, but also too there is room for new stories and new IP and new classics. You know what I'm saying? I think we're kind of in the state where we're lacking a lot of new classic original material. We do, dude. We live in this world of like, what's this? Let me find the next thing I can adapt, or like, let me like, what book can I make into a series or film? Like, we should hopefully maybe eventually get to a point where new authors are writing new books. Maybe not new books. I don't know. We live in a weird world now, but new stories can be told, and who knows? Maybe one day you and I will be involved in that. I don't know. That'd be kind of nice, but you know, But I'm always, you know, there's always a place for adaptations and reboots and remakes, as long as they make sense. Obviously, there are cash grabs, for sure. But I think there will always be. You just got to dig. It's just like music. You know what I'm saying? There's great music out there too. Right. You just got to dig. Same thing with this stuff. You know, you just gotta.
It feels like everything's been done before, but there's some things there. You know, it's like probably the simplest ideas that people haven't thought of, or they overlook a little bit, you know, a little tweaking here and there, and then you got something new and original. Yeah. And confidence does come from a lot of it. You know, I think that is probably something that's lacking, is a lack of confidence in original stuff. because it's so easy to go and gravitate towards, okay, let's make a new Star Wars. Why? Because people are already loving Star Wars. Let's do it again.
Mm-hmm.
Better, you know?
Mm-hmm.
So there's a part of that confidence that you don't need to put into that because you know Star Wars is Star Wars.
Right.
Sandman is Sandman. We're going to bank off this series, you know?
Right. I think too, I mean, well, I don't know. You know, this could be its own episode by itself, but budget in terms of studios, like budgets need to come down. It's because budgets have skyrocketed that they can't take any chances on smaller movies. You know, you look at Tarantino, you look at Robert Rodriguez, you look at those guys who are like incredible. You know what I'm saying? And they were able to, they are the independent film scene. You know, they were doing stuff way before what, you know, I consider myself an independent filmmaker, but I definitely look up to those guys because I'm like, well, how did they do it? If they were making movies on a shoestring budget, it you know, I grew up on those guys, and it really inspires you to be like, yeah, like fuck it, I can pick up a camera and I can tell a story. Like you hear them talk about all the stuff they did, and you know, I love the quote from Quentin Tarantino when he's like, what does he say? He says, if you love film enough, like if you love filmmaking enough, you'll be able to tell a good story. And like and like the way he talks about it, dude, like there's a clip of it online, you could go look it up. But it just, I don't know, I resonated with that, and I felt that. I was like, yeah, man, like, and it's not, I took it as like, oh, it's not like the first time you ever pick up a camera, you're going to make a masterpiece. That's not how I interpreted that. But what I interpreted that as is, if you love it enough, you're never going to give up on it. You're never going to give up on your passion, and you're going to get there eventually. You're just going to push yourself. So I don't know. I was just going off on a tangent, I guess. But anyways,
I remember hearing him say that as well, you know, and like that's what I thought first. I'm like, well, does that mean I could just pick up the camera? No, it's like you have that persistence for it, you know. And yeah, I mean, it would be really cool. It's a different world, man. Everyone has a camera in their pocket.
Yeah, it's a different world, but also
to when they were trying to do it,
right. But also too, I mean, one thing, yeah, like you got to kind of look at it how it is. I mean, obviously there's a thing where it's like, you know. But I think there's room for people in this world and certain groups of people who have not been able to tell their stories, you know? Like, they just haven't got... Again, it goes back to they weren't able to get the funding, and they didn't have a platform. Now, things have shifted to where these it's the hot thing to do nowadays, is to find the minority and get the minority to tell their story, and then it goes on and wins awards and da-da-da-da-da. But like,
you think that's why Jordan Peele's so popular? You know, because he is like, oh, black horror movies. We need.
I don't know, man.
This is what Jordan Peele's delivering. You know, and plus they're all original. It's not like it's basing off of anything, you know, or like a remake of something.
Maybe that's how it started out, but I think he came out of the gate with such a strong, like, first movie.
Yeah,
I don't know. Like, I think he's kind of
felt like an itch he wanted to scratch.
Yeah,
comedy going to horror.
Right. I mean, I think he would have been successful regardless of the times. That's the thing about his movie. You could have released his movie 20 years ago.
Sure. Yeah.
And it would have, but like putting him in the tier. This is interesting. If you were to put him back in the day of Quentin Tarantino and Robert Rodriguez, if he was making the Get Out, and if he was making those type of movies back then, that would have been crazy. I don't necessarily know if the world would have been ready for it, but like that's interesting to think about, because you're like, wow, and how far in terms of progress, in terms of getting other voices out there. If he was releasing these type of movies back in the 90s, I wonder how much further along we would be in getting those new voices in film.
Right.
Very interesting. Sorry, just going off of the what ifs of the world, you know.
Yeah.
But we'll move on.
Yeah, in terms of the Sandman series, I'm pretty excited. I want to see it.
Yes, I'm excited. That was kind of a tangent on the Sandman, but all right. And drum roll, please.
Yeah, I get a drum roll for it.
The news that I am super excited about. Pow! Yes. All right. So for those of you are like, Tyler, why are you so excited about these two chicks walking and drinking Starbucks? I don't understand. That was probably very anticlimactic for people who have no idea what this is. But if you see in the corner there, guys, it does say Spider-Man. So Spider-Man No Way Home is in the process of doing some reshoots, I believe, in California right now, and spotted on the set of those reshoots or around those reshoots, right? I don't think it's confirmed necessarily, but around those reshoots, we see Kirsten Dunst. Mm-hmm. And what's the other actress's name? I can't think of her name.
Her name is Deborah Ann Wall.
Thank you.
From the Daredevil series.
Yes, so she plays Karen Page in the Netflix Daredevil series that came out a couple years ago. That was fantastic. If you haven't seen the Daredevil series, you got to go watch that, because that was awesome. Season 3 specifically was amazing.
Yes, but they left us hanging.
Oh, but who knows? It might come back. But so all that to say, and Kirsten Dunst obviously played Mary Jane in the first Sam Raimi Spider-Man trilogy. So all of that to say, that means that we're getting Daredevil, some type of Daredevil. This, again, none of this is confirmed. This is all speculation. They were just spotted together. Why would they be together? Why would they be around the set of the reshoots? I don't know.
It's too coincidence.
But
too coincidence.
They might be in the movie, and it's very exciting because that means obviously that hints to then, okay, Tobey Maguire's in the movie and Matt Murdock is in the movie. It's very exciting.
Yeah, a lot of people in the movie.
Very, 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 very exciting.
Yeah, this should be fun, because like the same thing happened with Garfield and Maguire. People saw them in New York for principal photography,
Yes.
And on shoot and on location or whatever. And they're just like, no, we're just hanging out. We're just here, But yeah, but it's cool to know, but I mean, it's too much of a coincidence that these two in particular are walking on the same street together.
Yeah.
In the same, these guys have different schedules, man. Everyone got different schedules. So to know that two particular Marvel actors are in the same, come on, it's too much. It's too much, man. Too much.
Gets me so excited. You guys.
And you know what? If things end up on the cutting room floor, I'm gonna be pissed.
Yeah. Oh, dude. Yeah, dude. If they cut these guys, but I'm telling you guys right now, subscribe to the channel, because you got to be around. Because when that Spider-Man trailer drops, and ring the bell, because you're gonna want to get my trailer reaction. Because I'm gonna lose my ever-loving fucking mind when that trailer drops. Okay. If you want to see me if you want to see somebody, I'm going to be the react that you're going to want to watch, because I'm going to go nuts.
Yeah, it's been building up in you.
I may cry. And legit, seriously, I may get in my Spider-Man costume.
We'll jump in the Spider-Man costume. Watch it with the mask.
I have an Andrew Garfield Amazing Spider-Man costume that I could put on.
Is it from the first one, or is it the second costume?
The first one.
Dude, I love that costume so much. The first one, because I felt like it had such a sleek, scientific feel to it. I love the yellow eyes.
Oh yeah. Well, I only have the suit. I don't have the mask. So.
Oh, you don't have the mask. Okay.
No, I might wear it on the show.
Nice.
Obviously, maybe when the movie comes out. Probably not the trailer, but when the movie comes out, we'll be wearing the suit.
100%.
Oh, that's gonna be such a fun show, dude. When that movie drops, man, that review show. Oh man. And
I got a Batman onesie somewhere around here, so
dude,
I can pull out the Batman onesie for the Batman movie coming out later next year.
Dude, I'm gonna lose it, man. I'm gonna lose it when this trailer drops, and when the movie comes out. See this? Okay, so this is the thing. People that have experienced this with me will know this. But as we inch closer to specifically realistically a Spider-Man movie or a Star Wars movie, but very much so, or even like a Batman movie, as we inch closer to this Spider-Man movie, you're gonna see my hyper level jump, dude, get ready. I'm forewarning everybody that I'm gonna lose my mind. And my I'm not going to be able to contain myself. I'm literally, when I go see premieres, I'm literally in the car, jumping up and down like this. I can't contain my excitement, man.
While driving.
Literally. Yeah.
What would happen if the trailer dropped in the middle of an episode?
We would pull it. I don't know, because...
live pulling it up and watching it right now?
I don't know. Well, Sony would shut us down.
Oh.
Sony would give us a copyright strike. I don't know. We would literally. I don't know. That's
We're
a good
promoting
point,
it.
though. That's a really good point. I don't know what we're gonna have to do. Maybe we're gonna have to stop the stream, and then come back. Like,
I would just show it live. The hype is real.
I guess, right?
Email Sony and be like, "Hey man, I'm sorry, but we got to promote your movie." In all caps, we're promoting your movie, so please don't block us, don't strike us. What are you doing?
Yeah, right. Yeah, no, you're right.
I feel you. I feel your concern.
No, we'll take it. We're not monetized yet. You know, we can take we
We're
can
not monetized.
we can take the hit.
Making good use of not being monetized. So yeah, this behind the scenes photo's fun. It got me excited. I mean, I've loved Daredevil. I love the Defenders series.
Oh yeah.
Say what you will about some of them, but I love all of them. It's just it's crazy because I love seeing them being adapted into the screen. I thought they were all pretty solid. You know, I think Iron Fist was better in the Defenders series than he was in his own series.
Right.
So if you got him, it's because I thought there was gonna be a Heroes for Hire with him and Luke Cage. You know, their little dynamic in season 2 of Luke Cage was freaking amazing. There's movie potential there, man. So
Oh yeah.
why wait? Why waste that? You know. And so this is just the start of it. I hope it's for more to come. You know.
I think it's coming. Well, yeah, I cannot wait. Like we said, this trailer. We just keep waiting for this trailer. Now, this is okay. Okay. So this is something I want to bring up because I'm scared. I'm terrified, Christian. I'm very, very scared. What if they What if they delay Spider-Man because the Black Widow box office wasn't very good? We got Shang-Chi. We have the Eternals. Obviously, the pandemic is kind of not slowing down. It might be rising. What if they push this movie back and they don't release my If they don't release my Spider-Man movie this year, man, I'm gonna be so mad. And is that the reason why we haven't got a trailer yet? Because they're still not sure. And remember, this is Sony. Sony doesn't have all these other movies coming out. Like, they have Venom, which, if you saw in the trailer, didn't have a release date. They took the release date off and they just said this fall. They got rid of the September release date, which kind of scares me. I'm worried that they're gonna push this, and I'm not happy.
I mean, there would be huge disappointment, obviously. Oh, by the way, Venom trailer, I have a reaction to that on my channel, so if you want to go check that out.
Check it out. Me too. Go check. I got one too. Check that
out. But when it comes to pushing back projects, I hope it's for the better. You know, I really hope it means like they can polish up some things, you know, make certain things work. They really use time because I have that same mindset with video games. Because when video games get pushed back that I'm really excited for, it's like, well, maybe it's for the best. Because there's sometimes where video games are pushed out a little too early and it has a terrible, terrible outing. You know?
Right.
So I kind of think the same when it comes to films. You know, but of course there'll be a lot of like people being upset that it's not coming during the holidays, which is a really great time to bank on a movie.
Yeah.
You know, none of us are getting any younger. We need this movie now or never, man. You know. And I don't think it might be pushed back. I hear your concern, but I'm optimistic. I think it's going to come out in time for Christmas. This will be our holiday gift for getting through the shit year that was 2020. We need it, man. Dude. We need this holiday gift. And I don't think if Marvel wants to repeat history with Black Widow, they don't want to push back any more movies. Do not push back any more movies.
No, they don't want to push.
Black Widow.
They don't want to push back anymore. Well, also too, I mean, this will be the last thing we say on the topic, and then we'll go to the final topic, and then we'll end the show. But Marvel kind of needs this too. Obviously, they've had the hits on Disney Plus, which has done amazing for them, obviously. But
yeah,
Black Widow underperformed. Shang-Chi, I don't know how well that's going to do. Hopefully that does well, but we don't know. And then the Eternals, I don't think the Eternals has almost any buzz, and I don't know how well that movie's going to do. So they need both Sony and Marvel kind of need this Spider-Man movie to knock it out of the park this year. They can't afford to push this stuff back.
Honestly, I always felt like Eternals could have been a better TV show to really build them up because it just seemed like, oh, by the way, here's Eternals. Like, whoa, that's pretty sudden, okay? And I like their confidence in taking these obscure characters like Shang-Chi and bringing them to the forefront and be like, no, they're going to get a full theatrical movie, you know? And like you said, Marvel's is a theater experience, and how epic can it be when we don't know these characters just yet, you know? So, like you said, like when you mentioned Eternals, I'm like, after just talking about Spider-Man, I'm like, oh yeah, Eternals. I was like, oh yeah, right, duh, that's coming out too. But man, Spider-Man is Spider-Man. He was the first. He's always gonna rack in people. You know, it's an obvious. So for them to push it back, I think, yeah, no, it's not a smart move, and I don't think they want to do that. Spider-Man is a moneymaker, man.
Yeah,
100%. I mean, look how the trailer, just the trailer, look how the trailers got you acting.
dude, they haven't even released the trailer. Like that's the thing. This is Spider-Man, dude.
Spider-Man trailer.
I think,
all crazy.
dude, it's getting everybody crazy, dude. I think they could literally. Well, they can't not drop a trailer just because the way the industry works. Obviously, people like us are excited. People that are watching the show are excited. But there's a lot of general public out there that have no idea that Spider-Man's coming out because they're not in the world that we live in, so they don't know. So that's why you make a trailer so that the general public can be like, "There's a Spider-Man coming out," and then obviously, who knows what's going to be in this trailer? But if they're like,
they should just have a Spider-Man trailer where it's Tom Holland coming out because he's so darn cute, right? He comes out and is like, "Hey guys, here's the new trailer for my movie, but we're not going to show you anything too yet because it's really ambitious, like the most ambitious solo outing for a superhero. So come on and see it. It's coming out this December, and I can't wait to see you guys there. Fade to Black release date. Go and see it. You know, that's their trailer. I mean, I would probably be fine with that.
Oh yeah,
that would be so cool. That would be really cool.
And then
movie, just knowing that's Spider-Man. Yeah. See for yourself.
And and then at the end he's like, "Oh yeah, come see it. It's gonna be great. It's got my friend Andrew and Toby in it. It's gonna be great." And the people are like, "What? What?"
Right. He used to be like a laser dot sniper on his head. Like he said too much already.
Yeah, he's like, "Oh, I gotta go."
Yeah. Or
that would be genius.
In that little teaser, what if you see Toby and Andrew pop up like, "Hey, what are you doing here?" Or some little funny, cute thing that they do, like, "Oh, hey, wait, you or me, or what are you doing here? I thought I was on the wrong set or something." You know,
that'd be great.
They could have fun with it, man. I really think they could, especially with the marketing.
We'll see. We're getting
without showing any clips.
We're getting close. We're getting close, man. We're getting close. All right, time for the final story tonight, guys. Thank you for sticking around. All right, so Ryan Reynolds was asked about how Deadpool 3's going. You know, people are like, "Oh, so you know that Free Guy movie," which I do want to see Free Guy eventually at some point. But like, "Oh, that Free Guy movie's going pretty well. How's Deadpool 3? Let's talk about what we really want. How's Deadpool 3 going?" And he said this about the writing process of the movie. He said they asked him about a percentage. They're like, "What percent are you done with the script?" He said, "The percentage chance, I don't know. I couldn't assign a percentage to that. I'd say it's 50-50. Maybe we're actively developing it and getting into pretty good shape. What the hell month is it? August? Oh, next year? Probably pretty damn good. I'd say 70%. So that's interesting that he said probably next year. Oh, next year? Probably. So I don't know if that's...
Very Deadpool-like answer. It's like Deadpool gave us the answer.
Yes. So
it was very cool and interesting to see him bring out Deadpool for the marketing for Free Guy. Like we even got an MCU crossover for the marketing for Free Guy. I was like, holy crap! You know, what studio's doing Free Guy? Is it 20th Century?
I thought it was Sony.
Oh, okay. Because I feel like, you know, if it's underneath the same umbrella company like Disney, then it's all easy. But it was pretty cool to see an MCU crossover with him and Ford for a trailer. It was them reacting to a trailer for Free Guy. And I was like, well, this is such ambitious marketing, and it just shows how much power Ryan Reynolds has when it comes to this character. Like he really did a full 180, man, from a really hated performance as the character the first time around to really owning the character so much so that I can use the character to promote my other movie, and also in return at the same time promoting Deadpool 3 in the future of the MCU. That's just crazy marketing strategy, man. Just so crazy. I'm pretty sure some weed was behind that because you can't think of that shit sober, man. You know, it's like they had to have been baked or something. Like, hey, how about Deadpool for a Free Guy show? He's reacting to it, you know? It's just like some crazy fun stuff that they're just having fun with. You know? And I really admired the marketing for that. It's pretty cool.
It's interesting. I didn't realize Sean Levy is the director of Free Guy. Sean Levy is the producer of Stranger Things.
Oh, okay.
And I did want to mention that there's also the story that Stranger Things season 4 is going to wrap up in the next couple days. They said so.
They're gonna wrap up the show too, or is it gonna?
Oh no, I think no, I don't. I mean, who knows? I don't know. But yeah, no, they're wrapping up the filming of episode or season 4.
Yeah.
And we should be getting it soon. Sometime next year, probably.
Yeah. We got to see Harper in Russia.
Yes. Dude, it feels like it's been forever, man. It has. It has been
a minute. It's been a minute. I mean, they're all in their 30s now, so it's still going to be kids. I don't know.
Right? The pandemic aged them so much. I think that's going to be the craziest thing too.
Right.
Well, there was. I'm so curious. How are they going to do it? Because they started filming before the pandemic, and then they had to basically stop for an entire year. So there's going to be a gap in the season where these guys are going to be almost a year older. So like they have to look completely so different because they age so fast and grow up so much. So I wonder how that's going to work.
Maybe it's like going to be a science fiction thing where something happens, like a radioactive thing goes on, and then it like ages them or something.
Yeah, that'd be nuts.
See Winona Ryder's like, well, you're not my little boy anymore, and this is that she's freaking out again, like in the first. Yeah, I think that would be very interesting if they're going to really touch upon that, or they're going to use some de-aging to really make them look like they're still young, you know?
Yeah, we're going to de-age the kids.
Yeah, it'd be very interesting to see if that postpone of filming is going to have an effect on the narrative.
Yeah.
So, yeah, Deadpool 3 should be cool. Speaking of, we still have Deadpool on our thing. We went to Stranger Things.
Stranger Things. Yeah, no, I'm excited for Deadpool 3. I enjoyed the second one, but it wasn't my favorite. I was like, meh.
Yeah, I mean, the first one was really, really landmark. It was like a really like we did it, guys, because there was so much hype behind it. But then when 2 came around, it's like, okay, there wasn't that much hype for it, I think compared to the first one.
Yeah.
Because that was also with like X-Men and not really kind of like going forward with anything. Like they knew they were reaching their end. Like New Mutants, like again with that one, like that didn't really strive to go to like build up anything. Like I highly doubt we're going to see those characters in the MCU. I'm pretty sure they're all going to get recasted.
Yeah.
So I think Deadpool 2 was kind of in that same territory. Like, oh, this isn't going to really lead up to anything. Yeah, another Deadpool movie, cool, but it's in continuity with X-Men, so it's not really going to mean anything in the long run. Until they said Deadpool 3 is going to be in the MCU.
Yeah.
And then we're going to be like, oh crap, now there's so much hype for the third one. So I think that's what happened there a little bit. That there was really nothing to build from the second one.
Yeah.
That's right. Even though you did Cable, and Cable was pretty cool, but yeah.
I mean, yeah, he'd be the only thing that I would want to bring over.
Yeah, Cable. If Josh Brolin could still be in the MCU,
right?
Cable, that's Cable. Yeah.
Right. It'll be very interesting.
Yeah.
To see what happens. Oh, I know. Alicia in the comments. Alicia said like, oh, maybe they reshot the entire season of Stranger Things.
Oof. That's a lot of money to throw for a whole entire.
I mean, yeah, that's. I mean, hey, it's not like it's never been done before on a production, right. But as a production, you want to salvage and keep anything. Anytime you spend money, you're like, oh, we got to hold on to it. Like we can't read. Reshooting stuff like that is
very true.
That's tough. But
unless I don't know, maybe they shot all the kids stuff first, so they don't have to reshoot anything with the kids, and then maybe they're coming back with the adult characters. I don't know. It's gonna be very interesting. Maybe.
I don't know.
Depending on what they got done. We don't know what they got done.
Exactly. But I feel like I feel like they've been in production forever. So.
Yeah. Should be good. Hopefully it's good.
I'm ready. But yeah, with that said, I think that's going to be our show tonight, guys. Thank you so much for joining us.
Yes, thank you so much.
I had tons of fun. This is literally probably the best time of my week. I love coming on and doing the show, man. I love talking about movie news with you. I love talking movie news with the chat. It's awesome. We just keep waiting for the Spider-Man trailer, and I'll be, I'll be patient, I guess, even though I don't want to be patient for the Spider-Man trailer. But,
Alicia brought up a good point. David Harbour's physique has been all over the place for Black Widow and Stranger Things, so I wonder how that would be like. I mean, he's in Mother Russia, man, so he's going to be, like, fucking big. He's gonna be big. And I like how there's connection between, like, in Black Widow, he played Red Guardian, Russian, and then in Stranger Things, he's stuck in Russia, so I like how there's, like, that. Wow, he spent a lot of time in Russia this year, huh?
that's what he's doing.
Yeah, that'd be pretty cool to see as well.
Yes. Well, I'm I'm very excited. Future shows will be filled with a bunch of stuff. Don't forget. So what we got on the docket? Suicide Squad. Obviously, I
gotta finish Suicide Squad. I gotta see the ending.
Yeah, we gotta let Christian go. He's clearly like, I just want to finish the movie. I need
good talk. It was good talking.
I need to catch up. I need to catch up and watch the damn movie, and then get some sort of review out there, and then we can talk about it. Also, next week, Wednesday, August 11th, in the early morning. So this will be Wednesday. So Tuesday evening into Wednesday morning, we have Marvel's What If on Disney Plus. So definitely be able to check that out. That will drop before our show. That'll drop on Wednesday. So we'll be able to have seen that. And then I think we're gonna maybe do separate reviews, but we will be discussing those episodes weekly on this show too together. So
yep, for me, Suicide Squad review is gonna come out tomorrow. I'm gonna want to record that and get that out tomorrow. So stay tuned for that. And of course, episode by episode, What If will be reviewed on my channel as well.
Yes, make sure you guys go subscribe to The Lens with an exclamation point. It's over there. It's over.
Make sure that exclamation point. You're yelling it.
It's over there. It's over there. Thank you guys so much. If you can please share this, like, and subscribe for all the movie news, for all the nerdiness. I want this to be a place where you can kind of come and have fun and be nerds and talk about movies and feel like you're a part of this community. So thank you guys so much for joining us today. Have a great weekend, and don't forget to create all the things you want to create and live how you want to live. Don't be afraid to push your own boundaries, and we will talk to you later.
Yep. Take it easy.
Bye-bye.
Safe out there.